Love you, Linda. Love you.
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing "Oh Happy Day."
One word prayer. Justice, where are you?
And Just to Serve TV is on the air. Happy Thursday, Linda, Kenney, Baden. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm up in the country, and the rain has been just incredible. In Canada, they're having wildfires, and here we're just having rain. But doing very well, prepping for a case next week, as you know. Looking forward to, and I will announce it, although I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it. I will be on Auntie Deb tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning. And let me tell you, it may be like nothing you all have never seen. So before we get off the air, because maybe we won't be on after I make that appearance, please hit subscribe, like, share, and notify for Just to Serve TV. You put us past 25. We're approaching 26. We want to get up to 30. We can only do it with your help. Okay.
I noticed that Kathy Hochul, who is the New York governor, has just issued a big emergency alert. They're talking about, and we're talking New York City and the county north, which is Westchester, 5 inches of rain over a couple of hours. They're expecting it's nasty.
Pouring. Yeah, it's really nasty, and it's supposed to continue to a flood watch till 5 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So if it continues to rain, that's what I said. Like us now, maybe I'll be floating away, or maybe after you see what Jimmy and I have planned to do, because let me put it this way: it's not law-based, although we may talk a little bit about justice and all. And he's a comedian, and I don't know what he's coming with. It was my idea, and and he doesn't know one of the things I'm coming with. But shall you say at 8 o'clock in the morning? I'm not. I don't usually have my makeup on by then.
You don't have your face on by then?
My face is not on by then.
Well, I'm confident it'll be feloniously funny. So there will be some criminal aspect to it. All right?
Yeah, that's true. There'll be a criminal aspect to it.
What we're going to get into today is something that I've actually been kind of a nudge about, because we talked so much about the Brian Walshe case and this massive motion to suppress what effectively was the guts of the case, and that is a lot of the cell phone information obtained from a couple of cell phones and some mini iPads about location data. We have the graphics for that. Disney put together those. They're great. We're going to use those to kind of map through it, because the decision came down 36 pages. And as we had suspected all along, the court was going to find a way to get most of this in, and they did. So we're going to get into the details of that. But before we get to that,
Rip and Reed ripped my throat off. Rip and Reed ripped my throat off. But that's okay. It's no problem.
What are you talking about? What was that?
That's because I was going to say, because we called it and everyone else was saying no.
I cut you off?
Yeah. But that's okay.
Inevitable discovery, basically. Okay, so you want to start? You got something just handed?
No, you're going to start, because I think it's a continuation from last night.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Last night, as you know, we talked to the representative of the family of Maddie Mogan, Leander James, the attorney who represents victims' families. And in that vein, we'll just continue on Rip and Read right now with what happened today.
This is a statement from Stacey Chapin. She's I'm sorry, Stacey is a she, right? Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay. Don't want to assume anything. We've given a lot of thought to what we would say since 7/23 and have edited this a million times. The entire situation has been a tough pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, we believe the outcome is the right one. Most importantly, however, are the many people we want to thank, the true heroes in our lives, the Moscow Police Department, ISP, and FBI, who worked tirelessly on this case and spent time away from their loved ones, the prosecutors who openly communicated with transparency, answered every call and email, and were fantastic throughout this process, the University of Idaho staff, who consistently supported our family, especially Maisie and Hunter, from their first day of orientation through graduation this past May. Our incredible extended family, friends, and the communities that continue to lift us up every day, they are our backbone, and we recognize how fortunate and privileged we are to have this ongoing support. All of the kids, close friends of the triplets, Greek family, and others who are part of the story, who have been part of the story from the very beginning. Although each of their experiences is different, all have suffered severe loss and trauma. We continue to be in awe of their strength, and we continue to support them in any way we can. The media for providing us with opportunities to share our story while treating us with respect and care. And finally, thank you, Ethan. You were only with us for 20 years, but you touched the lives of so many people. From the time you were a baby to when we dropped you off at college, you were an absolute joy and the glue that held our family together. We remember your smile, your laugh, how you kept us in check, and the many ways you brought happiness and light to any situation. There will never be another you. There will never have been enough time with you. We love you, miss you, and promise to continue honoring your legacy. So, from the Chapin family.
Wow.
Chapin.
Wow, what a family. I mean, what a family. I'm not sure I'd be so, I watch these families and I'm not sure I would be so eloquent, elegant, and forgiving as they are. But I love the fact that they focus on their family member and not that other person.
Yes. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, I don't know if it's appropriate to have breaking news within Rip and Read, but I do, and I'm going to tee it up here just a second. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. This was going so well in rehearsal. Let me see if I can find it. Please. There we go. Let's see. Hold on. You'll remember this, I think. People will remember this.
Reyes.
Okay. That is Sergeant Brian Fahey, trooper with Connecticut State Police. He is the guy. I was at the hearing last Friday. I was the pool camera, Justice Serve TV, the pool camera, for the hearing in which the man on the left, with his Sean Paul Reyes, with the Long Island audit, was arrested for trespassing, voyeurism, and I think some sort of disturbing the peace-esque charge. He was arraigned. We were there. We covered that, as was his cameraman. Here's the breaking news. Sergeant Brian Fahey, retiring.
So he keeps all of his benefits. He can't be charged with a like Proctor was, right?
Retiring, yes. No disciplinary action will follow now. And I think tomorrow is the official day, August 1st. And it's important to remember what this whole kerfuffle was about. Sean Paul Reyes and his team had ferreted out overtime records for cops like Sean Paul Reyes, like Fahey. And he learned that he had $75,000 in overtime, right, for the prior year. Well, he did further investigation, found out he had $500,000 in overtime for a period of 5 years, right?
Which may affect his pension. I don't know how
it
works.
There you go. And that's where I'm going. And it's true of most big organizations. Teachers, the same way. I'm not lumping them into this category with him, but just mechanically, that's how it works. The overtime in your last few years of service dictate how much you make in retirement. He's going to be somewhere in the 120 to 160 range, 120 to 160K a year for life for his retirement. Okay. All as a function of what is believed to be the inappropriate claiming of overtime during the last 4 or 5 years. So that was the Rip and Read breaking news.
That's Rip and Read breaking news. Joey Kane, in the middle of Rip and Read breaking news, gifted another Justice Serve TV membership and a second Justice Serve TV membership, and we see that everyone likes it. Somebody who got it passed me by so quickly. Thanked us for one of the ones that somebody gifts. So we have other Rip and Reads. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'm thinking of Joey Kane here. Is that you, Joey? Is that a family member? Is that a picture of you as a youngster? I'm just curious. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Matthew Farwell. Remember him? Sandra Birchmar. I think there was supposed to be next week on Monday. There was supposed to be a
federal hearing of some sort.
And in court. Guess what? Both parties went to the judge and said, no, would you push it off? We both agree that we don't want it on Monday. Now, remember, he has not, it's been almost a year, right? His attorneys, and he added a death penalty attorney, have not filed one paper really in court except for this notice that this is an agreement between them and the prosecution. And I'm not sure who signed off on it. I didn't have a chance because it happened today. It was a short little thing. Signed, but it was signed off of. That it's been pushed off. Now that tells me one of two things. Either it's being pushed off because his attorneys are now presenting don't go for the death penalty type evidence, right, against us. And they want to make that presentation to the Justice Department. Usually that's there. Or there's a little word called cooperation.
And that's what we've kind of suspected all along because it has been pushed again and again and again.
Right.
And this is not a waiting hearing.
Right.
It's it's a status. It's an update. It's one of the many that you go through on the way toward trial.
Right. And it's a federal court, by the way. It's not a state court. People are like, this is a federal court. And federal courts are very, very, very efficient, in terms of timing. So yeah. Here we go again.
That suspicion continues that they got something going on. He's rolling over, some deal in the works.
Right.
So as we continue to follow that case, and we always have our ear to the ground. Anything going on up there, we know this because it's a federal court case. Maybe less concerned about what might be happening, but it all has a lot of this. Has a lot of the same players involved.
And same players. And while that's happening, before we get to our next rip and read, the Goodmans also gifted one Justice Serve TV membership. Thank you very much, the Goodmans. I know Will DeGlara thinks the world of you. Where is Will these days? Will.
He might be vacationing. I don't know.
Okay. No, he's not. He's around. Anyhow, rip and read too. The Arkansas, there was an arrest, and the poor family that just moved here to start a milk selling job in Arkansas, killed by this, okay, but they have got him, and he's a teacher. He was a 5th grade teacher back in Oklahoma. He also just moved to Arkansas, and he killed the at Devil's Den State Park, it's called. They arrested, his name is Andrew James McGann. He was arrested at a barbershop, I guess maybe trying to clean up his hair for whatever evidence there may have been on it. And he's 28, and he killed that married couple, and they
allegedly.
Yeah, I'm going to say he killed a married couple allegedly.
This was
I'll say allegedly quietly.
In front of their 4 kids, right?
Two kids, 7 and 9, and the parents were able to get the kids to tell them to run to safety. They ran to the visitor center, and I'm sure that it's a knife. So you have to wonder, did he want to be like maybe Brian Kohberger? Decide to, and there was a trail cam of the back. People recognized the shirt. And apparently, a lot of tips came in, and they found him. And quite frankly, if he's the one that killed him, there is nothing. And I say this respectfully as a defense attorney. People always attack me for this. There's nothing too good for him except for being away in jail for the rest of his life. Okay. Which is probably what is going to happen. And the children, by the way, were unharmed in the attack, not because he didn't try to kill them, because we don't know exactly what happened, but because the parents probably saved their kids. So that's another rip and read. We have another one.
Just imagine those kids what they witnessed. Oh my gosh,
I can't.
Are you ripped and read and done, or is this?
No, I have 2 more rip and reads.
You have 2 more. Okay, go ahead. I got one, but go ahead.
Okay, let me do my one, and then you can do yours. And this is near to my heart. Ex-NBA star Gilbert Arenas arrested over illegal high-stakes poker ring, right?
Yeah.
And
were you involved in the poker ring?
No. This is
do you need to lawyer up?
No. And here's the thing: between September 21st and July 22nd, Mr. Arenas rented out his mansion allegedly in Encino, California, for illegal poker games. And what makes them illegal in California is if the person who's running them takes what's called a rake or a piece of the action, because the government wants a piece of the action. Mm-hmm. If you're playing a family home game and you're playing with your brother and sister and you're playing poker for your pennies, no, you're not going to get arrested for that. But there was co-defendants who was a suspected organized crime figure from another country, who hired allegedly women to, quote, this is from the federal paper, serve drinks, provide massages, and offer companionship to players in exchange for tips. In return,
seems reasonable.
The women were allegedly, and I'll use that word, charged, quote, attacks, the prosecutors say, Chefs, valets, armed security guards were also apparently hired by the defendants, which means that there was a lot of money on the table. And there was a table that apparently, it's in the government showed the papers, Arenas. I mean, there's this poker table, allegedly. All right.
That's not far from where I used to live. I was in Tarzana, which is right next to Encino. There,
really?
Encino, yeah. One thing about both those areas is they have big properties. Like behind walls type properties, which in Southern California, it's kind of unusual.
Save him, because you know what happened here, and this is something that's not good. And we learned it in the Reed trial, although nothing happened to them essentially. Mr. Arenas was questioned by that organization, the organization that
that organization.
That cannot be named. And he said he knew nothing about gambling. And then he filed a petition in court. This even gets better. You can't make this up. To get the money back that the agents had seized in the raid. And of course, they charged him with lying to the feds, blah, 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 blah.
They say how much money they scooped up?
They did, but I don't remember what it was. And it's a good tidbit if it's a high stakes poker game. And so, you shouldn't really lie to the feds, and then you shouldn't try to get the money back from the illegal game on a table that has your name and likeness on it at your house. And it sounds like somebody flipped on that one too, but it's near and dear to my heart because that I try to play poker when I can. Okay, we do have a member for a month, by the way. Before you get to yours, I left my DV situation there to know who can help with adjustable bettors. I can't go I can't go unassisted, not wanting money, but if anyone knows a place, thank you. Asking, good place to ask our members, Sharon, Keith, AJ, do it. Okay, I can't help you on that, but one of our members maybe too. Our members are very, very helpful. Okay, you have a rip and read too, right?
I do. This one is basically a just breaking all points bulletin for this dude right here, Austin Robert Drummond. He is considered armed and dangerous. He is wanted for the murders of 4 people in Lake County, Tennessee, which is just north of Memphis, so in the western part of the state. Here's the deal: they find this car, right? It's empty except for a baby found alive in the baby seat, strapped in. A number of miles away, I think 40 miles away, they find the 4 people that were killed: the mother, the father, and I think another relative or 2. And this is the guy they think has his hands in this thing. So if you recognize this dude, Austin Robert Drummond, don't do anything but pick up the phone and call authorities. He is considered armed and dangerous. The number is 1-800-TBI-FIND, and I think that's Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. 1-800-TBI-FIND, F-I-N-D. Okay.
I guess the only thing we can say is at least the baby was alive.
Yes, small favor there, and who knows what was the motivation or what the deal was there.
Yeah. Joey Kane says, Michael, it's him, as an altar boy in parochial school, a little rascal. And Kay Schmidt, thank you, Kay. Again, gifted 5 Justice Sir team members.
Hey, I didn't recognize you without the beard, Joey. So
yeah. So I have another rip and read, and then I have an announcement. Okay. Rip and read. This one is you can't make this shit up. I'm sorry. Okay. Alan Dershowitz has stated that he's going to sue, get this, the Martha's Vineyard Farmers Market. I used to have a house on Martha's Vineyard, by the way. He's going to sue the Martha's Vineyard Farmers Market because he said there was a bigoted vendor at the Martha's Vineyard Farmers Market who refused to sell him because of his political views, and he refused. It was the pierogi guy.
It's always the pierogi guy.
Okay. And he says he's also being banned from the Martha's Vineyard Book Fair, the library, the synagogue, and because of his political views. But I think there's a Supreme Court decision that says if you have like a really religious feeling that you shouldn't, and it's a political belief, but it's based on a religious feeling, you don't have to sell somebody cake. So I don't think you have to sell them pierogi.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that extends. You're talking about that cake, the bakery cake, right? The bakery wouldn't do a gay wedding, I think it was. Is that right? Is that
yes.
I'm sure that extends to pierogies. That'll have to be extended by some sort of appellate argument.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh.
Alan Dershowitz is not shy about suing, and full disclosure, he sued my wife. So, That's what he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyhow, and then of course.
Oh, by the way, that was of course related to Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey
Filthy Rich.
Epstein.
Take a look at Netflix. It's back in the top 10
Oh, really? Filthy Rich.
because of everything that's been going on.
Yeah. We're gonna
So
keep
if you
following
missed it
that.
the first time around, check it out. Filthy Rich.
Great. It's terrific. I mean, your wife is a great showrunner, director, producer, everything. All right. And then I am wearing the new colorway. I don't know if you can see it because I have a blanket on my legs. So I'm freezing.
Yeah, because it's so cold. It's freezing
well,
out.
you know, it's freezing out. The new colorway, it's got blue and green of our new hoodie and our yoga pants. I mean, you know, hey, the yoga pants.
Oh, woo. Okay.
Woo! Actually, you could actually see my socks. My socks actually say.
Please bring me champagne.
If you can read
which you wouldn't drink.
I wouldn't drink. Okay.
So you're cold because you're a woman.
Typical man.
Typical man. No, because it was supposed to be summer outside and it's free. It's 54 degrees.
It had the temperature has plummeted. It's amazing because of this thing that is sweeping through. We're not in the swath like you are, just a little bit further north, a little bit further east, but it's coming right up the Hudson Valley.
Yeah. So anyhow, so Rip and Reed was pretty, you know, we ended with something that you know, he wouldn't find funny because he's saying that his political police are causing him not to get his pierogies on the Saturday Martha's Vineyard.
Dershowitz is the perfect example of that axiom that you can sue anybody you want. You have the right to sue anybody you want, whether it's a meritless case or not. So he just happens to not have to pay for it.
And then we also have the other very, very serious cases. And I'll tell you what, I don't know, Michael, but the more we see these cases out and there's Rip and Read, I mean, we hadn't been doing it. We decided to start doing it because every day there was something. And now it's like not just something, there's like 10 somethings.
Yeah, it's the editorial process is, you know, we wanted to just kind of top the show, make it, you know, kind of up to date and lead us into whatever the subject for the night might be. And we know people sometimes take a while to find us and the time. And it's just kind of taken on a life of its own, but I think we will continue doing it.
Yeah. So. Thank you all. Okay. So now we're going to go, now that you're all here.
Now I forgot. What are we doing? Oh yeah.
We're doing the Brian Walshe case, which is, which is what you called it right away. You called it. So I'm letting you take control of this show because
this is
you
a
deserve
couple of
all the
blame. You can say credit, but I would say blame.
No, I would say the accolades.
So here was the deal that, you know, the defense came along and said, look, there was this verbal consent to look into these phones, these mini iPads. The authorities in the Massachusetts State Police and the was it Dedham Police? Canton Police. No, it was I get all the towns confused there. But the town cops basically hand everything to the Massachusetts State Police. Proctor, Tully, those are the guys that did the work. And they exceeded whatever the consent was, according to the defense. So they bring the motion to suppress all of that. Fruit of the poisonous tree, illegal search and seizure, Fourth Amendment violation, blah, blah, blah. And we talked about it for quite a while, knowing that if this is granted, it rips the guts out of the case against Brian Walshe, who is accused in the murder and dismemberment of Ana Walshe, his wife, of a number of years. And things were winding down. I think it's probably a safe way to put it. She had a boyfriend in D.C. where she was commuting for a real estate job. And according to the defendant, that morning, New Year's Day, she had an emergency reason to get back to Washington. And so that was the time. That was when she was last seen. And this was New Year's Day in 2023, so a couple of years ago. So, and then as a result of all the information they pulled off these devices, they found, boy, did they find. They found location information where he had dumped bags that had things in them, like cleanup stuff. And your favorite item, the hacksaw, which had
the little bone chip. Which we don't have the discovery yet, but I assume that's going to come back to match the wife, Ana.
Yes, and all kinds of, cleaning materials and stuff he bought at Lowe's and at Home Depot. Anyway, the decision comes back, all 36 pages of it, and it's very detailed about the allegations, about the information, and the ultimate, the upshot, as they say, is that it's all coming in, except for communications and information from December 30th and December 31st, 2 days before she disappeared, the court deciding that there was no probable cause for those items because, in theory, nothing nefarious had happened at that point. Everything else, because there was probable cause, which, in my opinion, is inevitable discovery, watered down, probable cause that they would have found all these other items anyway, even if it was not from any sort of electronic device. Now, having said all of that, the corollary to this case is the Karen Reed case and the organization that I will identify as the FBI that did that investigation, which led to the Proctor text that were so outrageous that came from his phone. All of that stuff came from the federal investigation that was traveling along a parallel track with the Karen Reed case. Okay, you think, well, so what? Karen Reed case is over. Oh, not so fast.
Oh, not so fast. You're right.
Not so fast. You got Proctor and Tully and others that have cross-pollinated all of these cases up in Norfolk County. And now you have the defense in the Walshe case saying, well, wait a minute, we hear they're going to destroy all of the material that federal investigation undermined and turned over. And we want to see it. There may be exculpatory information in there. There may be stuff that we could use a la the Karen Reed case. Making things even more time sensitive, the feds have said, destroy that. You have 30 days to destroy that material. Mm-hmm. So now you have all the defense teams saying, whoa, we got it. We need to stop that. Now, here's another name that has crossed trial and case lines. Laura McLaughlin. She was the number 2 to Adam Lally, so I guess she became the number 3 and Karen Reed number 2. But she was sitting there at the table, not doing much, from what I could tell.
Not objecting to what. Not objecting to what you hit that and you teed it up. When Hank Brennan, in my opinion, lied about the T-shirt, and not objecting to the other couple things I won't mention. I mean, if she's a good attorney, she had to know those were not caused by road rash.
Yep. Right? Remember that whole series of questions. Anyway, and what could be more prejudicial? What could be, sorry, I was doing my Alessi as he was making the argument about that. So now we have McLaughlin sitting at the prosecution table in court, having a discussion with the judge about this mystery material, which she has seen. Okay? And puts her in direct conflict because now she has a federal order to destroy this stuff. She has defense counsel in her case preaching to the judge that we need to see this. And she's really stuck in the middle. I thought it might be interesting just to watch a smidgen of that discussion with the court to see how the court deals with it. This is Judge Diane Frenier. I don't know if that's properly pronouncing it, but I'm putting the French spin on it. Diane, maybe it's Frenet. Anyway,
that's like when I call you on my Siri, and I have to say, Siri, would you please call Michel Bryant to be,
mais oui. Well, her name. How do you put the spelling? The pronunciation?
I think it's
Frenier. Frenier.
It's Judge Frenier. And while you're looking for it, because I know it'll take you a bit to get it up.
Oh, I got it.
Beanie Emerald Gray, Brian and Baden for the win. I'm all in for Kenney Rock. Thank you so much. And Joey Kane gifted another 5 Just to Serve TV memberships while we were playing. Thank you all.
Okay, so this is the same judge that wrote the 36-page opinion that we're going to get into in a little bit here. I just think it's good to see her in action. It's good to see her address this very interesting issue and see how she decides. Remember, this has tentacles that cross a number of different cases because of the same cops and now this same FBI investigation.
Were involved with Judge Krupp last week. I don't care about those cases. I just care about your case, this case. So it would seem to me that we've got a pause. I understand that Judge Casper has put a 30-day pause on everything for people to assess the situation. And it seems to me that what needs to happen is that ADA McLaughlin, who has access to that information, needs to determine as an initial matter whether there is anything in those materials.
Well, objection. I mean, now you've got the fox guarding the hen house, right?
Right.
McLaughlin has the material. She gets to decide whether there's anything that needs to be disclosed that could be exculpatory. Do you have a problem with that? She's acting as the taint team now?
Yeah, she does. There's no. Everyone should understand that whether you call it a taint team or some
in-camera review, whatever,
or a dirty team, as they call whatever it is, or a Brady team or whatever. She's now acting as the person, and after we've watched her and Karen read. And
Yeah.
there's also, one other little tidbit on this. There's like an order that says that because people have been maligned, allegedly intimidated, right? You can't reveal what some of this stuff is and who's in these texts or the names of the people in these texts. It's like you can't make this stuff up.
Let's see where she goes with this.
That would be required to be produced under Rule 14. And if there are, we'll deal with that. And if there aren't, then the Commonwealth needs to aver by, I can think of a bunch of different ways, affidavit or otherwise, that there aren't any. Now, the backdrop to this is, as we know, and I'm not going to get the exact language correct, but when we asked for a TUI request earlier in this case, we got we're not giving it to you, but by the way, there's nothing there. That's my paraphrase of it. But that doesn't relieve the Commonwealth of its obligation. So that's how I frame the issue in my mind right now for this case. And it's the defendant's motion that brought us here and alerted me to the issue. I mean, the Commonwealth gave me an email before that, but Attorney Tipton, what do you think about that first shot? Attorney Porges.
So I had a brief discussion with the Commonwealth this morning, and my understanding is that they're filing a request to impound the protective order in which they would show it to the court, show it to us.
They did.
Okay.
Did you get that before the hearing?
We did. So we have the protective order. So our main concern this morning was asking the court to order the Commonwealth to review the material for any exculpatory material or issues. If the court's inclined to do that, then I don't need to be heard further. I would just highlight that a case came down just yesterday that is decidedly on point with this issue. You're smiling because you know, or you're smiling because you...
I think I know.
Okay. It's
That's
Commonwealth
amazing.
versus Goparian, and I would refer everyone to the section that discusses possession, custody, and control. Furthermore, the new revised rules under the Mass Rules of Criminal Procedure do a very good job of clearly explaining and expanding what exculpatory means. And in this situation, they are arguably in the possession of federal grand jury material that was investigating not only Trooper Proctor, but possibly the integrity of a murder investigation done by this very county, by these very officers. And so I just want to be clear that if the court is going to order it and the government is going to accept the order, that we want to make sure everyone has the same understanding of what exculpatory is. So otherwise, I have nothing further unless the court has any questions.
No, although, let me see if I can get to that paper.
Okay, before she goes on, I'm not happy with that. I would not be accepting that. She's basically saying, counsel for, and you saw Brian Walshe there, is basically saying, hey, as long as the Commonwealth agrees that they're going to look this over and we understand what exculpatory means, then I'm going to trust them to tell me if there's anything exculpatory. No, I'm not.
No,
I am not going to do that.
Even if Laura McLaughlin is ordered to sign, and I think she would be, the affidavit saying it's not, because
So what?
So what? Because if you're a counsel, if you're an attorney, you have a duty of representation to the court without an affidavit. I mean, you know, an affidavit is meaningless, in my opinion, unless you want to try to prosecute for lying later on. So
I just don't trust them. That's the bottom line. I don't trust them. I would want a third person appointed that
special master,
some special master, somebody that is going to take all that material and look through it and use their understanding of exculpatory and then share that information. I just wouldn't cave in this way. But anyway, it continues.
Although I like this judge.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, if you look at that 36-page decision she wrote, it's
really
thorough.
good, really
And
thorough.
she did what she
Really
had
good.
to, I think,
So
to get past the suppression, to get that stuff in.
I like to take things, I'm a very logical person, I like to think anyway. So I like to think things step by step. So we'll just go in that manner and we'll cross each bridge when we need to.
Okay.
But I know two particular parts of the order that got my attention.
So when you say order, do you mean the protective order, or do you mean the motion that Mr. Tipton filed?
The protective order. And one is paragraph 14. which may bring you somewhere else. And I'm doing this I'm putting the high beams on for your future, should we need to. Paragraph 14,
I think that's a bridge we'd have to cross
yes, and
at one point.
yeah.
The judge is
And
obviously
the other
not
paragraph
carrying
that
that.
stood out to me as having relevance to this issue is the opening sentence, or all of paragraph 11, with regard to the issue of possession, custody, and control.
The first sentence of paragraph 11?
I think it might be one, yeah, yes.
So
But we don't have to,
I don't think,
I'm just alerting you to those two paragraphs because there are two things that caught my attention as we move forward on this issue. But let me hear from the Commonwealth first with regard to
okay.
what, and then I'll go
Good.
back to the
Let's hear from the Commonwealth.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Bob and
Get
Allie.
ready for some soft shoeing here. Get
Yeah.
ready for some
Bob and Allie have joined us. Hi,
Oh,
Bob
nice.
and Allie.
Hey, Defense Diaries gang. So this protective order is the one that was issued to keep the materials from being destroyed until they could suss out all of the issues here for the defense. Okay, let's hear from the Commonwealth.
Attorney Porges.
Yeah, let's hear.
Thank you, Your Honor. So it's kind of a unique posture because my co-counsels are not party to viewing the protective order at this juncture. So First Assistant Lisa Beatty has been in contact with the Special Assistant.
What does
Attorney-
supervisor mean?
That would have been the chief of the appellate unit at that time who signed the protective order in 2024.
But it says,
Right at her.
Is that
Right
right?
at her. Right. I love this judge. Right at her. She's a former U.S.
Wait,
hold on
attorney.
a
She ain't
second, I
taking
just
no
want to
shit.
go back and see what the. So I refer you to 6B. What does that mean?
when that was drafted, it was relative to supervisors assigned as part of the Karen Reed prosecution.
Right,
So at that time, it was the First Assistant, Lynn Beeland.
but it wasn't just appellate supervisors. It says
Correct.
any
Correct.
supervisors of counsel of record. So anybody that was counsel of record supervisor, which
Correct.
could be multiple levels. I don't really know, haven't studied your corporate structure.
Correct. But as I can say today, well, defense counsel has the opportunity to review the protective order. My co-counsels have not had that opportunity. So Lisa Beatty is in contact with the Special Assistant Attorney General, who has an update. She's on Zoom, if Your Honor would like to hear from her, where the office is working with the U.S. Attorney's Office about any future amendments, this protective order, or any additional clarification that the office is seeking about any potential further disclosure. So if you would like to hear from her, she is on Zoom and could fill the court in on, recent updates that occurred this morning.
Yes, please.
Oh, why not? Let's bring in another attorney.
Yeah, well, but she's not. You know what? She's not letting them
Welcome,
get away.
ADA
She's not
Beatty.
letting them walk away. Yeah, let's hear from her.
Oh no, I think it's great. She's she looks at stuff and says, yeah, well, what does that mean? And
Right.
then when the first explanation comes along, she says, okay, but what else?
Honor,
I can't hear
Sorry.
you.
you can't hear me?
Hold on.
Try again.
We try that
Can
again?
you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I can't see you anymore, but I can hear you.
Can you hear me now, Your Honor?
Yes, and I can see you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Your Honor, I'm in the process of drafting my notice for Judge Krupp, which is due in 18 minutes. And I got a call from our counsel informing us that at this time we will be able to view the protective order. I know that not all assistant DAs in the office have been able, and I have not been able to view the protective order until I just learned this information. So I can't speak to what's in the order. So that will be able to be changed if there are ADAs who have matters that are in the posture that we are providing discovery and need to address these issues, ADAs will be able to look at the order. In addition, defense counsel, after the state court and defense counsel have signed a protective order, defense counsel will be able to have a copy of the July 21st order as well as the December 2nd protective order. Those are sort of my updates as I'm receiving them now. And then the U.S. Attorney's Office has acknowledged that we need additional accommodations or modifications. I don't know the exact words that they would use, but we have additional requests in order to be able to move forward with cases in a productive manner. And they understand that we're going to continue to engage in dialogue with them and possibly the federal court about how to manage these situations.
All right. Thank you for the update.
Now you have 14 minutes left to file your papers.
Now,
You know what, Michael, it's really interesting. Just stop for a second. What's really interesting here is this judge has now allowed the suppression, not allowed the suppression on a very limited matter, like 2 days, right? All those searches that we've all seen, I don't need to repeat them, are all coming in, right?
Yep.
Most of the phone data is coming in. The rug is coming in. The hacksaw is coming in. So she knows that basically she's on the road to convicting Brian Walshe, but she is not going to let the prosecution getting away to rely with her. She saw what happened in the Karen Reed trial, and I think she's going to make it clear to them they're not going to do that here. And if you lie to her here, I don't care whether you think this person is guilty or you have this person by the sneakers. There's going to be ramifications, and there's going to be some problems that she will have if it continue that they lie to her. And I think she's making that very, very, very clear.
Yep. And what she's done ultimately is giving them the opportunity to be honest. I don't trust them, but that's the decision that McLaughlin is going to get to decide what is and isn't exculpatory, whether it be accompanied by an affidavit or what, Girl Scout swear, whatever it is. If there's nothing there in her mind, then nothing will go to the defense. And that's just in this case. This overlaps a number of cases. So it's going to take another couple of rounds with the input of the federal judge, this judge, and probably other trial judges in cases. This one's the first on the list. That's why it's front and center. I think they have a trial date October. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's October. And so they're trying to make sure that this one gets through the system, and it'll, kind of blaze a trail for those that are coming behind. But they're all going to have that same issue. What is it in there? What can we use? Why are they keeping it? And why are we letting them be the gatekeeper for that information?
Right. The old adage, the fox is guarding the hen house.
Yes, I think
right?
I stole that one.
I think you did steal it. By the way, I see a lot of people, Michael, and I know you're out of this, and I know that we're not on Fashion Friday tonight, but yes, thank you for liking my nails. Thank you I really appreciate it, liking our new colorways and everything that you've said with regard to my glasses are new, by the way. And I say only that because this is kind of a segue, just a little like, when you have a palate cleanser in a restaurant with a high-powered meal, to my appearance tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
You're dropping in another promo?
Another promo with Auntie Deb, with Jimmy. And the reason why I have my desk, usually in my studio here, I'm tilted this way. Well, if I tilt that way, you saw a brief glimpse of what I have started up there. That if you come tomorrow morning to Auntie Deb, you'll see what we're going to do. He doesn't even know about it. He hasn't even seen this, right? He hasn't seen this. But we are going to put our makeup on, our makeup on together. It should be interesting. It should be interesting.
Okay. Can I get back to our work for the day?
I'll get back to our work for the day. Yes.
Okay. I just want to go through the document just briefly, just to hit some of the high points. And again, this is the same judge that we've just been hearing from. The court concludes there was probable cause to support the search warrants for the defendant's residence and electronic devices, but not for the GPS tracking of his mother's Volkswagen. Proctor just slapped one of those on there. Figured, here's his thinking. There are 3 cars that could have been used by Brian Walshe. This car, the Volkswagen, his mom's car is one of them. I'm just going to put a tracking device on that.
Without a warrant.
No good. no good. So that's not going to count. Or for some, but not all of the records sought from his cellular phone provider. And those are the days we talked about, December 30, December 31. Those are not going to be allowed. Let me see if there are a couple other notes that I thought were worthy of yellow ink. Here's the consent issue. January 6, 2023, Brian's attorney, Tracy Minor, provided verbal and written consent to turn over Brian's cell phone and 2 Apple iPads. Yes, iPads. Look who that is. MSP Lieutenant Fanning secured all 3 of those. Here's interesting. Does this surprise anybody? The affidavit did not provide any information about the cell phone, such as the phone number or its make, model, or any further information about the Apple iPads. I'm shocked at that.
Why am I shocked? I never heard of an IME number. Why am I shocked? We went through the Koberger documents to show what an investigation should look like from a very small police department that had assist, but like really well documented it all. And here,
it made the FBI proud, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the issues was that Brian Walsh's phone disappeared. Lost it on December 31st, the night before the disappearance of Ana Walshe, and then turns up on January 2nd. Normally, he would use his cell phone GPS for directions. He got lost when he was going up and down the eastern seaboard. And normally, he'd use his GPS on his phone, but one of his kids took it on December 31st. He didn't find it until the 2nd of January. Found it in his 6-year-old's bed. That little rascal took his phone. There it is, 6-year-old's bed, his son's bed, January 2nd. Okay, some more names out of the past. Massachusetts State Police Trooper Nicholas Guarino, the email, and Connor Keefe conducted a forensic review of the data extracted from the iPad mini that Brian had given to Lieutenant Fanning on January 1. His cell phone was manually unlocked. Okay, so and this is the stuff that's coming in. All these searches from January 1, and also
how long? At least it doesn't say how long.
Yes, that I mentioned that before. So he's definitely more interested in spelling his horrible searches.
How long before a body begins to? How long before a body starts to smell? Now maybe he's thinking about a live body. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's talking about somebody's sense of smell. How long does it take for your sense of smell to work? Maybe that's what he means. Right. Can you throw away body parts? What does formaldehyde do? Et cetera, et cetera. So this stuff. It's all coming in. Here's the Volkswagen issue. That was the one that was denied because he just slapped a tracker on mommy's car. Let's see. Oh, this was interesting, I thought. Must be why I marked it in yellow. January 7, 2023, right? This would have been 6 days after her disappearance. Cohasset Police Detective Schmidt gets an email from Richard Walker. Check this out, 9984, saying, "We have the so-named Ana Walshe with us here. We had a deal worth $127,000. She messed up. We have her here with us. And if she doesn't pay the money, then she'll never be back. And we know that the police and the FBI are involved. Good luck finding us." Well, there you go. Case solved. It's Richard Walker 9984. Right? No? Investigators considered this email suspicious because it contained no timeline to respond to the demand and no contact instructions. That makes it, just a note, if you're going to be a blackmailer, tell folks how to pay you the money. Otherwise, really difficult. Okay.
But thanks, Hope Aid Fear, gifted one Justice Serve TV membership. Thank you very much. This is an interesting. Ana Walshe has never been found. Her body's never been found. It's like the case in
Jennifer Dulos, no body.
No body.
How many other no body cases have we had?
We have so many no body cases, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that. And I think that in the olden days, and you're not talking about many years ago, no body cases were harder to prosecute. People said no body case harder to prosecute. But now with all, everything's a crime scene. Your cell phone is a crime scene. Your car, every time you pass a Wi-Fi, if you're in New York City, you're constantly passing Wi-Fi. They track you in your cab. Everything is a crime scene. There's information everywhere, and that's really a problem. So even if the other two garbage dumpsters were taken to the location where they were incinerated before evidence could be taken out of them. They still were able to get to the third dumpster at his mother's house, which had the rug with the hacksaw and the chip.
How stupid that is, you know. I mean, I don't know. I've never killed anybody. I've never dismembered anybody, but I'm pretty sure I would not dump stuff anywhere near a relative's residence. On January 7, Trooper Keefe analyzed location info extracted from Brian's cell phone using Cellbrite software. He showed that on January 2nd, 9:44 a.m., the device was in the area of Home Goods. Now, talk about shopping. That's one of my favorite stores, Home Goods.
Well, it's owned by TJ. Home Goods owns TJ Maxx.
Well, yeah, and you can tell by going in there, it has very similar. We talked about TJ Maxx a week ago, I think it was, with
Jimmy.
With Jimmy, and I'm sure you guys will start talking shopping tomorrow. But it's a much more organized. TJ Maxx looks to me like somebody just took the yard sale sign away. But you walk in and everything's just whee, especially over on that front right part of the store. But Home Goods has a kind of a more structured feel to it, and they've got an amazing marketing tool, which is basically, come on in, like it may never be here again. You know, whatever you find, whatever you see, and I can attest to that. We've got stuff there that I wish if we'd had two of them, we would have gotten them and matched them. But now it's gone. We will never see one like it again. So anyway, Home Goods occasionally is used for other purposes, according to this document. Surveillance footage.
It says TJX owns Home Goods. I had it backwards.
Oh, okay. They're the parent company?
Yeah.
Okay. Norwell Home Goods. Norwell is somewhere in that arc that was traveled by Brian Walshe that in the last couple of days after Ana Walshe disappeared. The video shows Brian pushing a shopping cart. Well, then we know Jimmy's off the hook, right? Because he doesn't use a shopping cart when he goes. So he's out. And it had 3 rugs, among other items. So I bought a couple rugs from Home Goods, and yeah, I mean, all things considered, you can get a decent price. And I would think, again, not having killed anybody, you need a decent sized rug, right? You need, like at least a 7 by 10, maybe something like that.
Well, I don't know how tiny Ana Walshe was and how far he chopped her up.
Yeah, that is true. And why would you need 3 of them?
Separating the body parts so they can't be located. I don't know. I mean, this, while you and I have cases and we look at cases, we don't actually kill people. Maybe we should look at Dexter. Maybe we should go look at Dexter for some answers.
Well, I always think back to my one of my favorites, really not an appropriate word, most fascinating cases was the Scandarito case.
Yeah, right, Scandarito in Florida.
And as I like to say, Scandarito is my favorite kind of Dorito. This guy is accused of killing his father and then chopping him up and disseminating the parts all over the place around various golf courses. He gets off on the murder, but he is convicted of mutilating a corpse. And he gets off because his dad dies of a heart attack based on a drug-fueled party he and his dad were having that night. With an hors d'oeuvre server full of cocaine. I'll never forget it. Yeah. A silver hors d'oeuvre server filled with cocaine. And Scandarito took the stand, and people believed him. They just plain believed him. Let's see if there's anything here. More cell phone data. Oh, this travel was to where his mother resides, but this time he was they had it nailed down to the southwest corner of the complex. Guess what was there? A dumpster, and he was there for about 5 minutes before he left. And they found 10 trash bags in that search. All this stuff's coming in. This is all the stuff that was subject to that suppression, and it ain't being suppressed. And so in the upshot of this particular, and this to me was one of the most important, the information collected during the investigation caused police to suspect that Brian killed Ana, dismembered her body in the basement of the Walshe residence, and disposed of her body and other items in various dumpsters. In that one big swath, the court is basically saying, Dominic, you've done the right thing, and no matter how you got this information, I give it the seal of approval. Yeah. And here's his defense. I can tell you his defense right now. Not that he intended to kill her. There wasn't a motive. They got into a fight. She accidentally died. He pushed her, or she fell backwards and pushing him. Because they're not going to be able to go with this. Somebody else killed her, and he panicked and he cut her body up, and therefore it's not murder. So you think they're going to admit that he was involved. You think
Yeah,
they're going to
I
do
think
that?
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Because
It's not
I mean,
that
we don't know how she died, right?
Yeah, right. But I think that's the once these searches all come in, unless they think they have a really great appellate issue here, that this was just a horrible accident. He didn't even kill her. She fell and they're arguing. And then when she was dead and he panicked and he got rid of the body. And then
Okay.
therefore, at the most it's manslaughter, but maybe it's not even that.
Maybe it's a
just
Scandarito. It
a
could be
Scandarito, desecration of a course.
Yeah.
Corpse.
So I mentioned some of these other points I've highlighted just because the names keep coming back to haunt us. And we've already seen Yuri Buchanan testify in the suppression hearing. But here he is referenced January 7, Buchanan and Detective Lopes travels to D.C. This is to go meet with Fastow. He was the boyfriend. He was the boyfriend that was being seen by Anna being seen by him as well for several months. And apparently that is going to be an argument as to the motive for the murder.
Right. That's what the prosecution is going to say is the motive for the murder, and that he was going to be sentenced on. Remember, he still had the federal charges to be sentenced on for the fraudulent artwork, the Andy Warhol artwork.
I keep forgetting to get that.
And maybe somehow she was going to. There was more that she knew, and that she was threatening him in some way, and all, So, but whatever. Even with all that, he can say they got into an argument. Look, we had a New Year's Eve party. It was a lovely New Year's Eve party. They got into an argument. She was drunk. Somehow she fell. She ended up dead, and I knew I was going to get blamed because of all this, and therefore. That's why I did those searches right away, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. It wasn't planned. If it planned, I wouldn't be doing those stupid searches.
Yeah, and all those searches do not say I intended to and then killed my wife. No, they're all cleanup type searches, right?
Right. So that's
it's totally the Scandarito defense.
Right.
It really is.
Absolutely. Right.
Based on information, this is another kind of wrap up. Based on the information in the affidavit, police had probable cause to believe that Brian was using electronic devices he had access to in the Walshe residence to affect the investigation into Anna's disappearance. So again, a broad, sweeping declaration that wipes away any of those concerns about Fourth Amendment violations.
Right.
So, let's see if there's any others. Yeah, we know about the Volkswagen. This was there was an authorization, but it was so vague that the court found that it was inappropriate. No information in the affidavit connecting the vehicle to Bryant or the crimes. So all that they had was, yeah, he had access to the car, but the affidavit said nothing about, therefore, he went to these places. We think that he may have traveled to those. No connecting tissue. And so the court disallowed that tracking device. Ultimately, it's probably not going to matter, but it just gives you a sense of, once again, how sloppy these folks play in Massachusetts.
Yep. And the problem is that you have two issues. One, you can wrongfully convict somebody who's innocent, or two, you may not be able to convict somebody who's guilty. That's why you have to do things right.
Yeah, and that was a concern I had going in, and that was that the evidence they obtained, illegal or otherwise, now we know it's legit, suggested they had their man, right? And he was going to walk. If this stuff was all suppressed, I don't know that they convict the guy. So that was, that's a very, that's a devil and an angel on each shoulder, which you want this guy to go down, but do you want the system and the process violated just to do that? No, you really don't. Because if it's going to be used against a guy who you think is a killer and a monster, it could also be used against somebody totally innocent.
And we have the same players, and we're also a little bit. Yeah. We need a taint team. We need a taint team. We have the same players. Taint team, and that's part of the problem. And you know what they're also going to put? They're going to put Ana on trial, because women are viewed differently.
But she was a cheater. She was cheating.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do, because women are viewed differently. Men can have all the affairs they want, but women are viewed differently if they have affairs, right? And so they're going to put her on trial, and they're going to say, she was careless and reckless, and so how do you know she didn't drink a lot and fall down and blah 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 blah.
That's right.
Blah.
If she'd never cheated, she would still be alive.
Typical man.
And that's what they're
exactly what they're going to be arguing. No doubt about it.
Yep.
Okay, so and they wrap this up with really just the reason they're excluding the days that they are. So again, everything is in, but material from December 30th, December 31st. Why? Because it predates her disappearance and the rest of the case, suggesting that what he did happened after the 31st.
Right.
Other than that, not much happening in Norfolk County. I'll tell you that.
Tell you.
Another day.
Can't get out of Massachusetts between Sandra Birchmore and Farwell still there, and
Aiden
this
Carney
case,
still doing his
and Aiden
thing.
Carney, and then you're going to be going up for that pretty soon. And still doing his thing. And love the pictures of Aiden Carney with Ben Affleck. Did you love those
I did. I
pictures?
saw that
Were they
yesterday.
great?
He had a picture of
Great.
a Southie, and
A
I guess his
Southie.
kids got to meet him as well.
Yeah,
So that was fun.
Southie.
Kind of told where he was vacationing. I mean, within reason. We know kind of he's not in the Bahamas, and he ran into him. I don't think. Anyway.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, wait. Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of Dunkin'.
That's a lot of Dunkin'. And there'll be maybe a little more maybe appearing tomorrow when I appear at 8:00 in the morning without makeup on Auntie Deb's show, on Jimmy's show. Again, quick whoop, whoop, whoop.
Okay. Don't tip any of that special stuff off. Okay, that's at 8 a.m. Is that right? Is that
8
Eastern
a.m.
Daylight Time?
8 Eastern Daylight Time, right.
All right.
Come join us for an hour.
All right. And then tomorrow night, we continue Fridays and Fridays. We listen to Luis Rivera. Remember, he's the guy that flipped on Segredo Garcia in the death of Dan Markel. We are continuing to march toward the Donna Adelson trial, August 19th in Tallahassee. We'll pop down there to take in some of that. After Luis Rivera, the next few weeks, we'll have Wendy Adelson, probably a 2-weeker for her. And then we'll do a setup the Friday before where we do things like Donna Adelson's arrest, something more focused to what we're going to see probably in her trial. A lot of the stuff we're seeing is crossover. Yeah, there are going to be so many motions because of the stuff we've seen in the prior trials. We've been kind of given a preview as to what we expect the parties to be arguing about.
Scott McGinnis, I hope you're up for that early on Jimmy's show. That's cool. It would be fun. We'll see. Last week we had Jimmy on our show, and things went kind of like we went haywire. Wild.
Scott, no makeup. If you show up,
Scott, no makeup. Oh my God! How did I decide to do this with no makeup? Okay.
You were not in your right mind.
I guess not.
All right then. Well, it seems like a good enough spot to end it. But this case, it's got it all. Some of it may be hyper procedural, but the way it bleeds from one case into the next and makes MSP look so bad. That's the Massachusetts State Police and their local counterparts. You just can't look away. So we will continue to follow.
Yeah.
Sherry, have you told people to what happened?
Sherry wants to know about buying the French crawlers. You have to tune in and see.
Oh, yeah.
Although I did have to add to my Dunkin' app today, I did have to add to my Dunkin' app today.
What is that? You preload it with money?
I preloaded with money, yeah.
Okay.
And so when I come up through upstate New York, there's this little thing called the drive-in, and there we go. So it's a little thing called the drive-in. And then next week, by the way, I want to remind everybody, I won't be around for the most part, except for maybe one show that we may pre-tape because I have my own case that I have to deal with, and it's a federal case, and it's serious. It's a civil case. It involves a lot of money, not someone's life, a lot of money, and while I love being with you all, and I usually do my work, 3:00 in the morning. This is something that has to be done. A lot of people are flying in from both sides, and really has to be done in person. My husband's birthday was fabulous. It was great. Thank you very much for asking.
So we will have a hodgepodge of stuff next week, but it's kind of an off week unofficially. Here's a Dunkin' Donuts tidbit. I have a friend who owns 5 Dunkin' Donuts. He's one of the first that started putting the drive-throughs in, which to me was genius.
Why am I hearing this for the first time?
Because you don't care. So I was asking about the process, right? Virtually all of the Dunkins now don't make their donuts.
Mm-hmm.
They make them in a central factory somewhere, and they deliver them frozen, and then they do their magic, early in the morning to pop them into the display case. So
do you know that
even though knowing that, I still thought they were tasty.
They are very tasty. But when I was in high school, I was a Dunkin' Donuts doll. Literally, I was in the back making the donuts. I learned how to make the donuts.
Wasn't that their slogan? Got to make the time to make the donuts. Wasn't that Dunkin' Donuts?
Right. Yeah, time to make the donuts, and that's what I did. They were not frozen. They had to put them in the oven. You had to fill them with that little filler thing, and and then not anymore. But there's still.
And in California, we were like, Dunkin', what the hell is that? we had Winchell's Donuts there, but no Dunkin'. And now
Okay, 'cause
they've
Winchell's.
made it their way coast to coast.
Who's Winchell? What's Winchell?
That-
Walter?
I
Is there a
don't
Walter?
know.
Wasn't there a Walter Winchell? Is
Well,
there somebody?
there was a guy who did puppets, right?
Oh,
you know,
puppets. Okay.
Walter Winchell.
Was that him?
I think it was
Okay.
Walter Winchell. He had Snurdly and a couple of other mannequin things, but that's not the same. It's not the same guy.
Okay.
But
How do we
Winchell's
go off
Donuts.
this tangent? We get off
I
on
don't
these tangents. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, well, something to think about.
Yeah.
Or
So
not.
anyhow, before you go, what I have to ask you all, because a lot of you are watching, a lot of you have been watching all week. Please hit that subscribe button. It's right there, the big one, to get us towards 30,000. That's our next goal. The like, the share, and the notify. If you hit the like when the thumbnail comes up, which next week is not so, as I said, it's mostly an off week. That actually puts us into the algorithm early, and it really helps. But hit that like, share, and that subscribe button and get us into that YouTube algorithm, because then we'll be 10 months old, really, where we really started this. I mean, we did a little fidgeting around for like 7 minutes.
I think we're older than 10. I think we're into our 11th month now.
We're into our
officially.
11th month.
Yeah.
We're
We'll have to
11
come up
months?
with some 1-year anniversary, something to do.
Well,
Yeah.
that'll be in September, right?
Yeah, about mid-September. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in
All right, then.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
have a great evening. I'm Michael Bryant. That's Linda Kenney Baden. Try to do the right thing. We'll see you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No makeup.